All right, guys, so I got this thing sent out to me by Dasaita. I'm not too sure how it's pronounced, but um, overall, this is gonna be an Apple CarPlay for this Toyota Camry right here. Toyota Camry is like a 2016. It's a bit outdated. It's nothing crazy. This is actually my sister's car, but we can see it's a bit outdated. Little tiny screen right here, not even bigger than my hand. It's, from 2014, 2016. And it is a Toyota, so it's nothing fancy. It is literally Toyota, and let's see how the display looks. And that's what it looks like. A lot of times with these Toyotas, the touchscreen actually goes bad. But this one, luckily, is still pretty good. So let's see what we get inside the box. Obviously, we get our instructions very well packaged, to be honest. What is this? We get a rear... Oh, this is a rear camera. That's pretty sick. I'm guessing we have to install this, or I wonder if we can tie it into our existing one, because this car does have an existing camera already. We get some pry tools. Favorite thing about this is that we get all the connectors that you need. You don't have to splice anything. You don't have to cut anything. You don't have to do none of that. All you have to do is just a plug and play adapter, which is this right here. And sure enough, here is the display. Look how nice that looks. Nice big screen. It is huge. We saw the other one was about this big. This one is a whole other hand big. We still keep all our functions right here. They're just a bit more in the corner, and the buttons aren't this big anymore. This is it. It's pretty much a plug and play option. We can see there's the connectors in the back. All right, so here's our display. The kit does come with some pry tools. We're gonna pry this thing open. I think we remove the vent on top first, and then we can start pulling this thing out. Pry up. Oh, there we go. Just like that. Pry up on the... Oh my goodness, what is going on here? And we should just remove these bolts here in the back, maybe some screws. A really nice thing is that this thing basically walks you through it step by step. We can see remove the vent, then remove center console, then there's screws. It even highlights everything, which is super duper helpful in case my tutorial is not the best. But yeah, we have to remove the center console here, pry it up, and then once you pry that up, the rest of this should pry up as well. All right, so the trick to it was to put it into drive. That way this thing goes back a little bit. Whoops. So yeah, put this thing in drive and it'll give you space right here. And now all we have to do is remove the last screws right here, and this thing should just come right out. All right, so you will have to put up with the beeping because it is in drive, and but there is 2 bolt screws that go on the bottom. So there's 2 on top here, 10 millimeter, 10 millimeter, and then 2 on the bottom. You'll see them once you remove this cover and this like storage bin. You'll see them, and then this thing just flies right out, just like this. You can see it's coming out. All right, so we took it out. Here is the new one, here is the old one. To remove the old one, to remove this piece off the old radio, it's just a few bolts here. Don't worry about any of the other bolts. It's just these right here. And then these same bolts that you removed would go on this radio here, and that's how you mount it up. All right, so this is how it's looking. The shade is a bit different, but hardly noticeable. But this is how it mounts onto here. Just these 3 bolts that are on the original one as well. So that's also how you remove it. You see these 3 bolts. Then you just basically pull it out. And that's it. 3 bolts on this side and 3 bolts on this side. And that's pretty much it. Now all we have to do is connect the cables back here. Like I said, it comes with adapters and everything, so we should be good to go. The only tricky part might be routing the microphone to somewhere up here, but other than that, we should be good to go. All right, so this was a little bit more trickier than I thought, but I'm going to try to explain to this the best in my ability. But basically, you have your harness that goes to the car, and you have your harness on the radio, and you have a lot of little tiny harnesses that go right here. And at first I thought, okay, well, we just got the main harness connected, which is this right here, and that connects majority of the things. But then I realized that, well, what does this plug go to? And I realized this goes to the USB. And then I realized that the rear camera is not working and a bunch of stuff. So then I started connecting connectors, and that's when I realized that you kind of want to connect everything you can. So we saw this one had a camera, And then I plugged in another one and it said cam in. So I was like, oh, cool. So that's what we have to start doing. The instructions don't really say it too clearly, unfortunately, but from what I realized, you just want to match things up. Same thing with this one. I noticed that I had the aux thing right here. I was like, well, where does it go? And I hooked up this harness and just matched them up as well. Aux L, aux right, basically the same colors. And I was still wondering where this one goes, and because I couldn't find it here. So come to find out, I did find it. And it's this little pigtail one, which is a USB. And I was like, well, how does that make any sense? But this one clearly goes, I believe, like this. No, maybe like this. Yeah, it goes like this. You can see, clicks right into place. And that's for a USB, but I was like, okay, where does this go? It doesn't go anywhere here. And sure enough, that's when I realized you have to get another cable and find its slot, which should be maybe this one. I'm just honestly picking a slot, hoping it maybe fits, because that's just how it is. All right, I think I found it. Yeah, that one goes there. So your USB, to use your factory USB, you connect, this is the USB. This is like a weird special cable. It was my last one left. Gives us a regular USB to then plug it in to this USB adapter, which I'm guessing is this one right here. And that should plug right into place like so. And that's pretty secure if you ask me. Let me check. Yep, that's secure. That's as deep as it goes. So then that's connected. And now we pretty much got all our factory things ready to go. The tricky one I did realize in the instructions was for the rear camera. My rear camera was not working. But like I said, this one clearly said camera. And then this one clearly said camera. Unless you're using this cable, which this cable is from the radio. Yeah, from the radio. And this one didn't go hooked up to anything, but I'm guessing it's for other models. But then you would use this one, I'm guessing, because this is the camera. If your model has this plug. But my Camry has this plug right here, which is the one we're using for the camera, and now the camera works perfectly fine. So I'm guessing you have to connect pretty much everything you can back here, so then you can start branching onto the car things. My first thoughts was that the car, all it needed was this big wire right here, and you get majority of those things. And then, like, for example, this USB cable would directly go onto the car. But because it is aftermarket, and I could see why they would put like adapters and stuff, you need to put all these crazy adapters to finally adapt it onto the OEM harness. But it is doable. It's just a bit tricky, mainly because the instructions are a bit vague, especially on this side. I was kind of copying this, and it even says right here for the camera, if your OEM camera isn't working, swap it from 4 to 1. That's if you use that connector. So I have a few things left, like the microphone I do need to plug in. This USB right here, in case you want to run some external USBs, like a flash drive, stuff like that. I might not end up using that. Then we got an antenna. We got a SIM card, which I might not end up using because I don't want to put a SIM card into this thing. And I believe this is, one of these is a 5G antenna. One of these is like a Wi-Fi antenna. I forget what it is. And here's our microphone that we have to run probably across the dash and up here. So these two will go together. Other than that, we're just going to put this antenna on. This antenna on, I think, as well. And let me see, is that what it is? Number 1 is the GPS antenna, and number 2 is the 4G antenna. So yeah, 4G antenna and GPS antenna. I don't think I need this because, like I said, I'm not going to be running the SIM card, but just in case, maybe it pairs with Apple CarPlay like that. And this one, like, you have to put your SIM card in there, which I do not have an extra SIM card, but it's a good option. But yeah, that's pretty much it. But as you saw, most of the things have to go plugged in here to adapt onto the car. But yeah, once I wire all this up, we'll see how it looks and go from there. All right, so it's finally installed. Everything was put into place. We put our microphone up here and we basically routed it down here, down under the car. And then when we had this open, we were able to feed it through the back and up through here. Same thing with the USB on this side. This USB right here is just an extra USB. And if you want to mirror your car or connect Apple CarPlay as well, you can do it wired. Other than that, everything else is wired into place. The original aux and USB is working. The original backup camera is working as well. Very nice. I've been messing with it and this thing is amazing. It has Hulu, it has Netflix, also Apple CarPlay. All makes this almost 10-year-old car feel like it's up to date. This is a 2016 and it doesn't really feel that old. With the Apple CarPlay, it makes it feel a lot more modern. It has a billion different things, different settings. Like even when you close and open up the door, it even lets you know that, which the original one does not. Also, it makes your sound system sound a lot more better just because of the internal amplifier from the radio inside this one compared to the OEM one. So in the beginning, I was a bit skeptical about it, but now that I'm trying it out, it's actually really nice. I connected the Apple CarPlay for a bit and it did amazing. Overall, this thing gets a 10 out of 10 for me. I can't find any issues with it really. The only maybe minor issues that I'm so used to the knob right here to turn down the volume. All we really have to turn down the volume now is right here. But it's not really that big of a deal. That's the only drawback I saw from this thing, is that the volume knob is not here no more. So overall, I give this thing a 10 out of 10. Makes your car feel a lot more modern. Makes it feel like 10 years newer because of all the things this thing can do. And because of the big screen. The old one looked a bit outdated by now.